live shot. Alright, so let's do stream spectators in the world. And I join my good to go. Oh, hi. You got the green apple. Nice. I know. You were very close. Hello, hello. Alright, first up is this one. This was submitted just moments before the stream. Or at least I saw it just moments before the stream. Okay, hours before the stream. It's a bit lower level, is what they said. How is everyone doing in chat? Oh no, it's still misspelled? Oh, there it is. Alright, it's officially been fixed on my document. Next time it will be good. It's 2:59. Oh, I started at 2:57. I'm doing alright. I've been watching a lot of Critical Role. I had a friend recommend it to me. Their Critical Role Campaign 3. Back-to-back replay streams as it used to be. It's true. We've got a lot of games to get through. Your IRL D&D campaign is on hold? Yeah. That happens a lot. I don't actually know which of these players is who. So it's going to be a guess as to who's... I guess we can always make Grimm a couple dice. Habits, are you a DM? Or are you a player? Or both? Both is often an answer. I shouldn't say just a player. You are a player. Just a player. Guess we can do things like this. Just seen your tournament replay. Nice. Oh, very cool. The homebrew stuff is often, it's, you know, it's special. I've partaken in quite a few D&D campaigns, DM and as player. Yeah. Yeah, D&D, it's fun for like all levels. You can't really expect... I know there's some people that like go into it expecting it to feel like Critical Role, for instance, but that's not really how D&D tends to play out, because those are all like professional voice actors being paid to play the game. So usually the role play isn't quite like that. But it is very entertaining to watch. What's my favorite Global League map and why? Hey, Paladins are really fun. My favorite Global League map is First Step into Fog because it has so many openings. It's either that or Seconds, because it was the first map I played on. I like First Step into Fog a lot, even though I think it has, if I remember correctly, it has some second turn advantage on it. D&D sucks at low levels. The game starts at level 5. If you're like really build focused and combat oriented play, then I get that. If you're like very role play heavy, then there's a lot of fun to be had at the lower levels. But I also agree that for a lot of campaigns, starting at higher levels is good. Yeah. I was having a lot of fun playing a paladin. Lokdar, the paladin. He would he would like hand tickets out. Like opponents were like riding on mounts, and it's like there's no saddle. You'd give them a ticket for that in combat. It was very fun to be almost absurdly lawful good. Like Stalingrad. Stalingrad's pretty good. The lower level in game is just way too swingy. Because you only have a few powers, you like use your power and then you're out of luck if that didn't work out well. Because you want to stick to all the rules. Yeah. You don't want to be too stickler. Oh no, is it a bunch of murder hobos? There's nothing wrong with playing like that, but it can definitely clash with anyone that's trying to like roleplay. You fell below 1K and it makes you mad. You'll be okay. I believe in you. You'll be back up there in no time. As a delegation of the church, you guys are like the Inquisition. Just stealing everything. My next character in a roleplay campaign is going to be a sorcerer, and I'm going to use all of my sorcerer points for the silent spell casting, the one where you can take away requirements for spells, so that I can just act like a commoner and just have spells happen around me. Just like, I'm not a threat. And then just a fireball comes out of nowhere and I just like run and hide. I'll be the... I think it's silent spellcasting? I don't know, I'd have to look at the rules again. But it's like something that's rarely used. Because it doesn't have, it's not like make your spells stronger. I figure you can be really creative. feel like MMORPGs, kind of similar. A little. I would say Metamorphigas are way more grindy. Although you can have really grindy D&D campaigns. Anyway, I think enough people are here that I can start the replay. I'm not sure who submitted this in between these pairings because the person on Discord had a different name. But we have no H and 0-H. Maybe no hydrogen. A level 12 farmer would be awesome. Silence spell, meta magic. There you go. Okay, there's probably no H. Or maybe it's not. I'll just leave it like this because everyone likes Grimm. So we've got Grimm against Andy. This is apparently a lower level game. On End of Entropy. Now, I don't know if this is definitely not equal on tierings here. I don't know if this is going to be like a Grimm alt, but Grimm is definitely tier 4 while Andy is very solidly tier 3. However, Grimm does excel at killing stuff. So as far as tier 3 to tier 4 matchups go, it could be a lot worse. Yeah, Grimm can kill stuff with all that firepower, and Andy wants his stuff to live. So, you know, it kind of works in Grimm's favor, at least somewhat. The big downside that Grimm's going to run into is that Andy Super is just way better than Grimm Super because of that extra movement that it gives. But if we're just talking about like normal powers and day-to-day, then Grimm can, you know, Grimm's got some ideas for fighting Andy. Right here, Andy has not built a recon this turn. So Grimm just gets to clear this infantry, no punish. Very nice. Recons on this map are pretty good, as you can tell. There's a road that leads straight from this base up into this collection of cities that both players kind of fight over. But you can also go over here and deal with these cities. So recons are pretty nice. There is one downside about building recons against Grimm is that Grimm tanks will just one-shot recons. So you can't get away with going for those attacks where you like attack from a forest onto an infantry, a tank hits you, and you get away with a little bit of health, and you heal it up later. Stealth fighters. I don't think stealths are allowed on this map. I could be wrong, though. Okay. Andy going in for a nice swing over here. Sadly, didn't have the comm tower yet. That's okay. Definitely needs to have some more support for this infantry, otherwise it's just gonna get clobbered by these guys. You'll have maps where recons are good. Recons, they're like sleeper hits. They're really good on most maps. They always have a little niche. This was a little mistake from Andy here. It's especially true in Fog, but even in Standard, you really don't want to have your infantry standing next to cities like this where your opponent can hit from them. I'm not quite sure why this infantry moved here, this 3 health one. I guess it's just trying to bait this infantry in and then finish it off. But it's probably better just to heal up and just enjoy your unit count. Are stealth fighters normally banned? They're usually banned on maps with really aggressively placed airports, but not always. I don't know. Sometimes they're not banned. Sometimes they're banned, sometimes they're not. So they might not be banned here. How am I doing at Quack Cup? My game has just started, but I think I'm doing okay. Ooh, just going for a swing and then a capture. It's very nice Grimm infantry combat over here. It completely outnumbers the production that Andy can output from this base. So far I would say this is looking very good for Grimm. But yeah, this tank was just able to come over and kill this infantry. No punish. And just, yeah, trying... As Andy, you want to just try and keep these guys alive. Because, of course, this isn't a 3 health infantry. Once your super pops, that's going to be an 8 health infantry. So if you can spend a 1 turn on a city to heal up to 5, you go all the way back up to 10. The stealths are banned here. The airports are super far apart, with contested fronts near the airports. That's why stealths are banned. There you go. But stealths aren't banned on Celeste. Is that not the same thing for Celeste? Okay. This is a mixed base map because all the bases aren't all on one side for one player and all sides for the other player, so they can be really hard to follow how the game's going, because a lot of it comes down to how much people are trying to invest on any one front. So like here, Andy is investing a lot over here, but like very, very little over here. So when you're trying to track how well Andy is going to be doing in this mixed base map, you want to be like, how much is he gaining from this these tank investments, and how much is being lost to the little investments. Like over here, so far the tanks have like killed a 3 health infantry, and they'll probably be able to stop these captures, but maybe not, because this the possible copter buy from Grimm here to immediately cover this is pretty strong. It looks like... Oh my goodness. Why? So Grimm does not interrupt this cap. I'm guessing because Grimm didn't have a follow-up. So Grimm might have been worried about, if I swing, I don't kill the infantry, it hits me down, this tank comes up and just finishes me off, and then it just continues capping. But I think if you swing... It is a Grimm infantry, so I'd imagine it probably knocks this to below 5. I could be wrong, though. You think it's just a misclick? But you also really wouldn't want to attack from this side, because that's hittable by this tank, where attacking from here is not. And then nothing's covering this. So very risky. But we can see down here, Grimm has started to attack into the area that Andy has not really invested in. Ooh. So that's covered by a tank. And there wasn't a copter built. Okay, so in this kind of situation where it's like, what do I do with this tank? And I have 2 different captures I could interrupt. Definitely go for the capture that isn't covered by any vehicles. This one's covered by a tank. So if you hit it, a tank's going to hit you in retaliation. Or if you hit this one, nothing scary can hit this tank. It just gets away with interrupting this capture. So I would definitely go for this one instead. Down here is going to hurt. And the city gets left open too. So the Grimm tank even gets to hit you from there. Just something to keep in mind. The constant little infantry battle over here. Ooh, okay. So here Andy's trying to cover this tank against this incoming Grimm tank, which should work because there's also Andy tanks coming from down here. Although Grimm can also buy right here, so it's a little risky to start this fight. Andy's probably invested enough to keep it safe, but what this does mean is that there's no punish up here for this infantry. Although I'm not quite sure what that infantry's goal is anyway, so it's okay. So I would definitely finish off this 1 health infantry rather than continue capturing here. It's going to take forever for a 3 health infantry to complete this, so you might as well just instead kill off the Andy unit, and you can just send a full health infantry over, or use this one next turn to capture this faster. Okay, going down here is very, very bold without anti-air support. I'd much rather just move over here or move into a position that's better at defending this capture. Wow. Okay. So the plan was to walk by and then go for this this property. That's not great. Because anything that your opponent builds from this base can always interrupt that. But I guess the idea is that it's overloading this infantry, because that infantry is also being like delegated to fight down here. Okay. So Grimm went for a first strike, a tank first strike here, but it's into a tank chain. So this is not going to work out great for Grimm, because the tanks can finish this off, and then because Andy, like these 2 tanks can kill this 1 tank here, and then Andy's just left with an injured tank, which is something Andy wants. That's more charge towards his super, and it's also going to be very easy to get back up to full. It just has to sit on a city for a single turn, and then when the super pops, it'll be a full health tank, and you will have effectively lost an entire tank to do like 2 damage to another tank. Potentially a little bit of a mistake here, but I guess an infantry can just finish this off instead. And then it was very bold to just replace this infantry here. Yeah, but Andy really wants a tank fight over here. Grimm can just kill this tank outright next turn, but then there will still be other tanks from Andy over here, so it's looking decent for Andy, I would say. It's kind of interesting that this infantry didn't hit here. I imagine that's because didn't want Grimm to have this infantry get brought into the fight to get a 2-hit KO on this guy. Just trying to conserve the Andy units. So here Grimm does go and kill that tank and then interrupts the city there. Goes for this lab capture. The fight over here continues. Tries to go for this city. Gotta be... So you really don't want to just send your infantry forward to go for these captures like this without something else going on. If you have other units around, that going for these captures means that these guys will then be overloaded. They have to make a choice between what they fight. Then that can be good. Or if you have like artillery covering, that'll be good. Or tanks covering or anything like that. As is, these infantry pretty much have only one option, and that's just to kill your infantry going for these captures. So it's better to just keep your guys back a little bit and wait till they have the backup ready to actually go for this. Otherwise, what will happen is you'll end up building those vehicles, and then the vehicles will not have the infantry to go for the captures. Okay, so we have the anti-air moving up here. There's going to be some tanks going down for Grimm here. Like so. Okay, so like this is a nice example. This is a capture. Another nice thing about this capture is there's no infantry around to interrupt this, so a vehicle has to. And the only two vehicles that are in range are these two tanks. But you can see like this tank, it really wants to hit these tanks over here. And this tank would really like to go down and hit one of these tanks. So this is like overloading the units by going for this capture, even if it's an unguarded capture. And then, yeah, these are like forced interactions. Probably should have attacked from the planes first for the slightly better defense. Andy's really close to getting the super here, but not quite able. It's probably worth it to come in here and kill this 3 health tank, but maybe not. Because you'll end up losing the tank. You wouldn't want to sit on the base, on the city though, because I mean a super's probably coming next turn. So that's just costing you some money that you don't need to pay. Okay. It was nice use of the copter to go down and then kind of get a build out of Andy and then leave to just probably force a build somewhere else. So here, this tank had to go for this strike to not lose this entire city, which means these tanks did not get touched. I would have definitely built a copter over here as Andy to kind of shut everything down on that front. It's a very good block for Grimm here. It's a 2 health infantry, which you really don't want to have to hit with a tank, but it's also blocking the route that tanks could take to leave this area. So very nicely done. And there's only 1 infantry that could hit it, but there's a tank standing there, so the tank you would like free the route for is being blocked. This is looking like a pretty good anti-super. There were some nice heals, getting some nice kills. Almost gets this capture using the anti-super trick of healing up before continuing the capture. Right, the tanks are coming in here. Got like 5 Andy tanks looking at this double base, which is pretty scary for Grimm. And a lot of these infantry are going to go down. There's nothing protecting up here. So the Andy infantry with that extra movement and the tanks with the extra movement get to wreak some havoc. And you can see here this copter did in fact force 2 anti-airs. And now this copter over here, this is kind of scary for Grimm because there's 5 tanks over here, and then this capture also needs to be dealt with. Now there's a copter staring at this capture, so if the tank stays here to stop it, the copter will just hit it, which would make Grimm want to build an anti-air. But because there's so many Andy tanks around here, Grimm really wants to build like a medium tank, for instance, and just doesn't have the money to do both. It is so annoying when your own units block your own attacks, yeah. So he does stay. I'm not quite sure why Grimm has not used any powers here. Because the Grimm super... It doesn't matter here, we have a one-shot, but... like the copter would be able to one-shot that tank, I think. Maybe not because of Andy's power. But with the help of that guy, it would. So I'm not sure why. So Grimm just built another tank to help fight off the tanks, but that does mean this copter is going to get some free damage. From what you've heard, Grimm is basically worse than not having a CO. That's not true. It does change the game dynamic quite a bit because everyone's units basically die faster. But I would say that Grimm is definitely beneficial for Grimm. You get to choose how you're using it. He's definitely one of the weaker tier 4 COs. But not in all cases. I was a huge Grimm fan when I was first starting. That's how I like worked on my positioning to like self-train. I would always play tier 4 Grimm because positioning pays off really, really well for him. So it's kind of sink or swim. If you position poorly, you'll find out because all your units will die. Can we watch a replay and go over how to play Ardene's Fog? Sure. I don't know if any of it have been submitted. You see here, this copter gets a nice hit. And now Grimm's really running out of units. A part of what's happened to Grimm here, though, I think, well, for one, not using a power at all is really weird. But, oh, there we go. No, oh, that's the super. Knuckle Duster's the normal power. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we want shots. Although there's no power. Part of what happened to Grimm in this game, and why Grimm has no units left, is because of all of these just charging forward with the infantry, going for captures that are guarded without any other compensation. Is why Grimm's kind of run out of units and is gonna run into a game over very quickly. Unit count is really hard to recover from. And you can see here this copter is actually down to 7 health from how much it's fighting tanks. But Andy has really good air because this will happen to anyone as their copter will kind of slowly get chipped down. But for Andy, that's generating more power for him, and then he just pops his super, and the copter's back at full. Where for anyone else, if they wanted to heal their copter, they'd have to like fly it back and sit on their airport, blocking their own buys, which is really awkward. Okay, there's still no anti-air from Grimm here, which is I'm amazed that Andy is not kind of pressing the advantage there. Andy also has super. Okay, so definitely use your super before you go for any captures or go for like infantry movements. Like here, Andy was a movement short of going for this capture. Andy's a movement short of going for this capture, but you get used to super first. He could have made it to both of those. No problem. But yeah, these tanks get to come in, do some nice damage. Probably anti-air finishes us off. Very nice. It's really hard to recover for Grimm here. As soon as you have to use vehicles to try and go for these interrupts against infantry, which then leaves you exposed to other vehicles, there's not much you can do. You'll just end up being forced to take worse and worse trades, which is what's happening here. The Andy player should really just hit this with the copter and then just slam into the anti-air on the base. This actually worked out somewhat decently. This guy's going to be able to heal up and get a nice hit on this copter, but the copter is also down to 1 ammo. When your units start running out of ammo, they've been very good units. So at this point, you can kind of see how just not having enough units will just end the game because you can't defend your properties around the map. And then once you've run out of your properties, you don't have enough money to even build vehicles to match your opponent. And I think this game will be over very shortly. Resign or otherwise. I'm surprised the capture limit's not actually met because Andy does have double. Oh no, never mind. Andy needs to capture one more property. Something hasn't been captured yet. The capture limit should... Oh no, not yet. There we go. It was at 32k to 14k. Slightly higher than you would expect, but not by too much. GG. Definitely a tough game. Number one thing for Grimm was definitely making sure not to send those infantry forward without any backup or any any way of punishing the attacks on them. Did win a moral victory by picking Grimm, yeah. We'll move on to the next one, which is a fancy one. It is... I have so many Cookie Land games. Maybe it'll be faster to search the other player. The person. There it is. Oh no, my poor penguin. Lamb's already Cobalt Ice, so we will make Silvera a yellow comet. Why am I looking so terrified? It's a tag game! Tag games are terrifying. So in tag games, in tag games, you pick two COs, and then one of those COs is the front CO, who you get their day-to-day, their power charges just like it normally would, and then you have a back CO who doesn't have their day-to-day active and gets half the charge that the front CO gets. And then at the end of turn, you can instead click tag, and your turn will still end, but you will then swap which CO you have in front. And then there's no... I haven't played Dual Strike, but I have heard that in Dual Strike there's like power combinations based on which COs you have, and that's not a thing in Advanced Wars by Web. So the front CO can use their power. And then also when you tag out, your power ends, so you can keep charging. You won't have your stat boost, but you'll get to charge through your opponent's turn, which can make combinations like Andy really strong. Here we have Eagle Andy, and we have Sami Rachel. Usually, not always, but usually tag games have different CO tiers per CO slot. So here it looks like it's a tier 2 and a tier 3 CO, or it's a tier 2 and a tier 3 CO. And there's a few ways to play tag games. Sometimes you have different COs that are like better at different periods of the game, and sometimes you use COs that just both get a lot of benefit from powers and generating powers. and you use the tag out command to make sure you're always building more and more charge. And that's where you have like a duplicate CO, so you like have Andy, which makes your units really tough to kill. Because since the Andy in the back is always gaining 50% of the charge of the Andy in the front Andy gets the super, heals all of his units, and then attacks you, and then tags out, and then there's a new Andy that's already most of the way to a super. Can't be tough. So duplicate COs kind of gives you like almost a super form, as long as you don't need their power to stay active through the opponent's turn. Like Andy's good for that, and so is Sensei especially. Okay, it looks like Cookie Lamb is being aggressive towards Silvera. We have artillery into recon. Recons can't stop these Sami captures, but they can kind of set up those infantry to die. And so far, Silvera had been just focused on economy, but now builds a tank on the weak side here. Also to note is that Cookie Lamb actually built 2 vehicles on the 1 base side, which is something you don't usually want to do. Because your 1 base side is going to be really starved for infantry, because it has half the number of bases as the 2 base side for producing units. So every time you're building a vehicle, you aren't building an infantry, so it can become pretty if it can become difficult to have the infantry to capture the properties. In this case, it looks like Cookie Lamb just assigned 2 properties per infantry and said, I'm not going to try and risk going for these properties, and instead I'm going to try and just contest them. So here, Cookie Lamb's like, infantry can get the harbor and the airport and city. I guess they would have had 3, and then city. And then just focused on building infantry out here because of the mountain paths that they have to take. So it's harder for them to duplicate up, I guess. Actually, this guy can pretty easily go for this city. Yeah, it's not that bad of a path around the back. Okay, so definitely these 4 cities are looking to be the most contested. And Sami does have a nice advantage going for contested cities. In that your opponent has to commit more than just 1 unit to stop you. Whoa. Cookie Lamb going ham over here. Going for both of these contested cities. Not quite sure how I feel about that, because while this is a weaker tank, this isn't a weaker artillery, and it can very easily come up and support this tank as the tank interrupts his capture. We'll see. This infantry is not going to be covered except by other infantry, so maybe this tank isn't planning to fight up here at all. It just wants to go over here and kill off this infantry. And at any time, Silvera can always end the turn swapping over the Rachel, and that will kind of buff the vehicles. Yeah, I don't think I really liked that move that Silvera did over here to go for this city, because it lets the tank come over and just kill it. But I also don't think Cookie Lamb had a very good attempt going for these 2 properties. This one looks a lot stronger, as it has multiple artillery covering it. Ooh, and Silvera very much prioritized these back caps. And when that happens, you are creating a future push that you can do when all of these infantry kind of hit the front lines at the same time. And you're suddenly just you have like 5 or 4 more infantry than you normally would, or you had up until that point. His Eagle is a nasty tag too. The tag teams are scary. Oh, also, Sasha's when Sasha's in a tag game, she drains both the front and the back CO's power bars. So it's a little toxic. It kind of somewhat ruins the point of tag when everything's getting drained like that, so you don't really get to do it. Just a little toxic. Grimm tanks can interrupt. Yeah, Grimm is pretty decent against Sami, especially in Fog. Grimm can just tear apart Sami. I don't think I've seen the matchup in Standard, but I would imagine Grimm does pretty good. Okay. So Silvera was able to interrupt this capture and lost an infantry fort because it got shelled, and is kind of trying to pressure the low infantry count that Cookie Lamb has over here. Charging forward. I'm not super feeling this attack. I get what's going on here. It's like I need to find a way to hurt these artillery. The problem is that this one's just going to shoot the tank, and then the base can build vehicles to deal with this. So I would not be surprised if it's like artillery shot, tank gets the kill. You can like move this infantry up to hit this infantry, and then move this artillery back onto the city so it's guarding this other artillery, and you're all guarded by the base and the infantry getting in the way and all that stuff. Didn't move the artillery back, decided to stay here. Get enough damage in order to stop Silvera from getting this capture. And we have an infantry sacrifice trying to get this kill. Very fancy. Yeah, this is fine too. A 4 health artillery can still get a lot done. If Cookie Lamb can't find a way to get it onto the city, it will be a little bit weaker, but that's okay. Looks like it's going to get hit. No, it's just a breakthrough over here, and then this tank's going to hit this one. This artillery. Yeah. Really trying to break through. This is really difficult to do when you're in base range, but both players are kind of in base range. It's really, really small map. And we have a Sami mech. Since this map is so small, the Rachel super is going to do a lot of damage. Cookie Lamb actually swapped to Andy. And the reason you would swap to Andy in this right here is because you want Andy's super faster, because you get the slower charge in the back. Although I'm kind of surprised that Cookie Lamb has not built a copter. Eagle copters are so strong. Okay, so this artillery ended up going back onto the city. You can see the tanks are getting nice up in Silvera's business here. I don't like this attack from Cookie Lamb. Those infantry are just gonna die. I don't like that join from Silvera, so I guess that's okay. With double time. Allow this tank kill. Infantry gets a kill. Breakthrough to the artillery. Once those go down, it hurts a lot. Because even injured, they get some serious work done. But once they're dead, they're dead. This is a very annoying capture. Because it's Sami, can't just send this infantry over and interrupt the capture. So this is probably going to go through unless unless Cookie Lamb gets really desperate and like uses this medium tank to kill this 2 health tank and then have infantry tank come over and hit this infantry, which would be really not great. I just don't like anything right now. I'm sorry. Why is no one going after the comm towers? That's because they have to invest money, and it's hard. It's hard to get away with the transport investment when your bases are so close to the front and the fighting is like right there. So really it's the map size that's stopping people from going for the comm towers. Although, it might be worth it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so transport copter can make it in 2 turns. But it's kind of a steep ask on people's budget right now. Get the AA. This is going to deal with the mech and the infantry wall. A fun fact is that medium tanks and anti-airs hit infantry for the same amount of damage, but for mechs, anti-airs hit mechs just as hard as they hit infantry, but medium tanks actually hit mechs for a little bit less. They miss out on those one shots that the anti-airs get. So it's just one of those cases where you want to build an anti-air even though there's no air currently. Ooh, so this is a pretty big deal. Silvera's artillery is no longer in range of getting this capture, interrupting this capture, and this capture was not contested. So, Cookie Lamb might end up getting both of these cities, while Silvera gets both of these cities. The artillery isn't covering that tank, sadly. It's covering this tile, though, so it would be really, really bad choice for Cookie Lamb to move here and attack, because it wouldn't stop the capture for one, but then it would also open up this artillery shot. It looks like there's some infantry that keep kind of get thrown away charging over in this area. It's really hard to go for these. But like this city, both bases are in range. I imagine this map is usually going to be a stalemate, because the bases are so close to each other. There's not really that much of an opportunity to like retreat. Okay, this is a pretty nice little capture that Silvera has going on here. I would prefer if the artillery was here instead of here, because what's most likely going to happen is that Cookie Lamb doesn't want this medium tank to get shot by 2 artilleries, so it's going to be like tank kills this tank, and then the medium tank can get out. And when that happens, this artillery is going to have nothing to shoot at all. But if it was in this forest instead, it would be able to cover that. Another thing that Silvera could do, and probably should do, is move this infantry. This might even happen. Move this infantry like down here or over here to block off one of these sides to this tank, and then move this 5 health tank to take this place. That didn't happen. Something has to be here so the medium tank just can't hit the artillery. But you really don't want it to be able to just get free. Ooh, we have a little front switch coming in here from Cookie Lamb. But the medium tank did not get freed. It decided to stay there and just shoot that tank. That seems really weird to me, because neither of these are... Was it not possible? No, you can definitely just kill that tank. Bam, bam, and then the medium tank can just like come over here and hit this tank. Weird. So instead, what Cookie Lamb's thinking is, if these artillery stay here to shoot my medium tank, I can get them with my forces coming in from the side here. You definitely need to be a little bit wary, or at least Cookie Lamb should. Because leaving this front does have a cost. The medium tank is taken out. Rachel Super is almost on board. Okay. This is currently playing as Rachel, so this infantry doesn't get that kill. Do have this artillery coming over here. This is looking a little scrappy. This artillery can definitely get hit. But with the missiles on ready to go right now, you do have to be careful, even as Andy, with attacking into this kind of thing. Because if the missiles hit, you just get like one missile hits all your units, then they can all be killed off before you can just heal them up with your super. Maybe Cookie Lamb played this turn with 2 minutes on the clock, as per usual. You need it's the I work best under pressure mentality. Okay. So this is very silly. It's definitely meant to be a magnet. It's way too many infantry needed for the infantry magnet. So it's trying to be the HP magnet as well. The missile would land here. Hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units, which is more than over here where it hits 6. Ooh, so Silvera goes for the lucky last instead, which is something that Rachel definitely has as an option against Andy. Let's run on in here, grab some kills, or specifically kill that anti-air. Okay. We'll see how these artillery end up working out. Okay. Just fall back up here. That works. This poor guy. It's got a great wall on this side, and then the attack hits from the other. So sad. Lucky Last might not always be good, but is spicy and you respect that. It's definitely a very good option against someone who like dedicates a lot of units to make a magnet. Yeah, no anti-air is definitely a little sketchy with the copter right here. No super from Cookie Lamb so far. Going for some attacks. Definitely should have waited to fire the artillery. I'm surprised that this... Oh, it's because the artillery's here. That's why I didn't go and just hit the other medium tank. I guess it didn't matter, though. That's fair. Okay. As far as I can tell, Silvera did not swap out. So Lucky Last is still active, but also that means that Sami can't be engaged next turn to like double team or something. Okay, so in this case, Andy was used, and then Cookie Lamb tagged over to Eagle. So the super, this is just a bug in the replay. The super is not actually currently active. So no extra defense for Andy here. Or damage. We have another Lucky Lass used. This looks like this was the plan against the copter. It's the Lucky Lass it down. There you go. And the 4. Grabs both of these properties. Has a 4k lead, although that will go down to a 2k lead once this infantry finishes its capture. Just busting on through here. This is pretty scary for Cookie Lamb. Silvera should really tag out after this turn so that Sami is available, because I mean sitting on the HQ and a lot of units are going to die next turn against the Eagle Super. Silvera just stays as Rachel. That's really bad. Because Eagle is going to kill a lot of stuff, and this would just generate a lot of charge for Sami. Probably get her to super, and that puts even more pressure on Cookie Lamb to clear this HQ, which is not easy to do. So, have the nice Eagle Super. We'll see how Cookie Lamb decides to do the buys. Looks like we're just going to do medium tank. So this is not going to be a unit count kind of Eagle buy. It's the kill there. You can see not even close to clearing that HQ. So if Sami had been fronted here, I think Silvera would have just won on the spot. Maybe not. It probably wasn't quite 5 bars of charge there, but somewhat close. A lot of units did go down. Okay. Silvera still has a nice econ lead here. And okay unit count and value. And has now swapped back over to Sami. So the victory march is being built up at a faster rate now. And Cookie Lamb has to always keep in mind that Silvera can do like a mass unit sacrifice to build up charge. So yeah, it definitely needs to keep stuff on the HQ at all moments. Takes out the copter, takes out a tank. I would probably, well, I don't know. It is Andy, so this is like killing a full health tank, so that's fair. Decides to fall back a bit and then build a medium tank. Okay, the economy gets equalized here. This did not get interrupted. It would also be hard to interrupt because Andy's so close to the super. So like a tank would go over and hit this down to 5, and then the artillery would shoot the tank, and Andy would just pop the super, heal this infantry up to 10, and then finish the capture. Oh, you can't see the Sami charge. Sorry about that. There we go. I don't know, anti-air. Just Lucky Lass down the copter. And that's something that like Jugger and Flak can do too. Anything can be an anti-air if you're lucky enough. Yeah, I don't know why Cookie Lamb doesn't have any air units. Really weird. Or, well, there was the one copter. but hasn't been building more air units. They're very flexible. They can fly over these mountains. He's got Eagle. Okay. We've got some serious... We've got mech infantry medium tank spam is the name of the game here. And both players are just kind of building up. I would say for Silvera should definitely have built an artillery to protect these contested captures. You can see how good Cookie Lamb's artillery is here. Always covering the cities. It's got something in front, goes for a contested city, and then there's the artillery back here to protect it. Yeah, Sami and Rachel are both strong COs on a small map. You can say firsthand it's not the best pair. Day-to-day is a bit weaker on tags, that's true. Oh, Eagles with Andy, so he doesn't know what an airport is. Oh, that explains everything. Okay, well, this looks very vulnerable to an Andy super, just diving in. And it looks like that's what we're having here. Whee! Just charge forward. You can just take out this copter, and then just make sure you don't leave too much stuff exposed to the mechs, and you're good to go. These medium tanks are just not quite in position to like clear this HQ. Although, Cookie Lamb's trying to make another magnet over here. But yeah, I think Silvera is thinking, well, you kind of move these units really far away from your HQ to make this magnet. And while you are attacking over here, I have Victory March that I can always tag over onto. And, well, actually, I don't... We can actually go back and check how much charge does Eagle have here. Eagle has, like, no charge. So, Andy has been swapped out. So there's no defense bonus from the power right now. So Eagle's gaining charge during all this. We just can't see it because of this, how the replay functions here. But I would definitely be really aggressive. Definitely calc it out to see if you can get the covering fire, because Andy's swapped out. Okay, I don't think Lucky Lass is needed for that. I think the covering fire would definitely have been better. But maybe that was just not really an option. Then swap out to Sami. Okay, we have the swap out to Sami this time. Oh. Looks like Cookie Lamb just decides to resign it. I didn't see any way that this attack was really thwartable. So, that's understandable. So Farah decides to try and kill everything before going for the HU. With the triple recon, we have the game end. He was supposed to be vulnerable. Ah, nice. So the plan was get the units to hit over here and then go take the HQ. I like it. No missile or pipe runner. That was very well played. That looks like an incredibly tough map to play. It's so close to each other. At no point was anyone able to squeeze out a transport to go for the comp tower. Which is beneficial for Andy. It's a very old map. There you go. Then the Dino Dan. Versus PunisherIceman. Dino Dan's been playing these games here. There we go. It's very weird how this is, the title is PunisherIceman versus Dino Dan. Then the player order is Dino Dan versus PunisherIceman. Yeah, I have. Well, I downloaded a huge map or replay pack from Rishi, so I have a lot of just replays from Global League. Non-updated settles, yeah. You're expecting Cookie Land to win? It was a tough game. Silvera's an underrated opponent for sure. We have some fans of Settle as Still Water on in the chat. It's a pretty cool map. A42. Can I talk about this map? It's a map that has been has received a lot of like meta work on it, a lot of theory crafting. Halt Comp By has a whole write-up on how you should play this map. He talked about it in one of the videos with Master Combi. And if you go to the strategy channel on the Discord, one of the pins is how to play on it. Yeah. Under Advanced Strategy, number 9, settles as still water opening theory here. I can just post it in the chat, actually. Pop. So you can have a whole write-up on how to open on this map. I have not seen the new map, but yeah, I did hear it was a lander instead of a black boat. I'm glad you guys are liking it. Who would you consider an overrated opponent? I'm definitely an overrated opponent. Silvera's standard version of this map. Okay. Landers instead of black boat and a shoal extra so you can still drop off in one turn. Oh, very nice. So double recon is very meta on this map. We'll see if that's what people end up going for. You have the single recon so far. Both players, and there's a specific route that the recon takes to make sure it can see the comm tower. Oh, PunisherIceman rushed something. It doesn't have the money for double recon, or maybe as player 2 you don't normally. I don't remember. Oh yeah, it has a bigger drop off over here. Okay. And there's got the recons coming out for Dino Dan. And then just infantry from PunisherIceman. So PunisherIceman is not going for the super meta opening, just going for a single recon. The mapped out opening that Compi shows uses, I believe, a transport copter, and you even get to do a double boost out of this black boat. I think from infantry's here and here. So like goes in, boosted to here. This one goes in and boosted to here. I don't know if it matters. This boost definitely matters because it makes it to this city, but it's mostly because it's cool. This meta has some awesome games, but also some rock, paper, scissors openings if you deviate from the meta. Oh, that's true. Yeah, now that you have a lander instead of a black boat, you can actually fight off the recons. I don't know if I ever showed my first game on Settles as Still Waters, or if I even have it still. I can check after this. Because when I played this map, I did not do any research, so it looks very silly. You'd get to see infantry fighting recons. Swag stress equal best stress. That's true. Let's see here. PunisherIceman retreats from this recon, just takes the 2 cities and backs off and is hiding from it. And this looks like didn't want to deal with trying to mess with this corner, and instead is trying to just control the center. Or Dino Dan sending 1 recon for this and then 1 recon for the center. And instead of having double recon, we've got a faster tank and a mech. Okay. Here comes the battlecopter. Or not battlecopter, a transport copter. Transport copter is very good on this map because you can see there's like a really long land route to make it into the middle, but the air route you can take in just 1 turn and drop off right into the center of everything. So the transport copter gets a lot of benefits on this map. It's a nice drop off. The mech is covering the infantry that was just plopped down, while this infantry is serving as a wall so the recon can't first strike the mech. Or do you think people should fight more for these rather than going for these corners? It's definitely something you can always mix up. Oh, the new version has tier 1 instead of tier 2. Well, I imagine Von Volt has a lot of play around the cities, yeah. Is Sturm allowed? Sturm would have a field day with the recons and stuff. Sturm is allowed? Oh. I'm sure you guys have a lot of fun with that. Okay. So Dino Dan is very much aware of the recon meta, playing really very far back. And this is where playing too much around the meta can kind of hurt you if the other player decides to not follow it. You always have to be adapting to the information you get. A nice use of this mech and drop off as well. Hey. I like this early artillery charging forward with very nice recon presence for the vision. Normally I would I'm not sure why this recon's here instead of this forest. It might just not be able to make it there quite yet. But that's a really good forest for a recon to be in. It sees this base, it sees this harbor, and it's really annoying to get out of there. Black bombs can stay banned. I don't like the recon ban on the standard map either. Interesting. So Punisher Iceman had a lot of presence in the center. So did Dino Dan had a little bit, and they've both kind of really withdrawn more towards their HQ and then pushing towards these corners. And Dino Dan has successfully, especially with this nice artillery placement, successfully denied the comm tower from Punisher Iceman while getting it themselves. And starts moving into the center. The recon's in the really nice forest. And Andy versus Lash is an interesting matchup. Because Lash is able to use that day-to-day and the super to get those kills on Andy's units. But when you end up having these fights in the mostly like plains and roads areas in the kind of later stages of the game with the real beefy units, then Andy kind of can outvalue Lash quite a bit. And while Lash does have some nice firepower boosts here, there's often not enough to get those one-shot kills. They can make the recon a lab unit to prevent the cheese and still let them build them. No lab, the labs are completely disabled on Global League. Yeah. Usually, if you find a cheese on a map, you just change the map in some small way so it's not cheesable. Sometimes it's just placing a forest. Sometimes they just put a black boat in the way. You can see really far back, but I mean they're far back, but they've been working really well. They've gotten their objectives completed. They just didn't lose anything pushing for this. So this restrained, patient play has definitely worked out well for Dino Dan. They've repaired the T-copter. Oh, true. You get to refuel it. Okay, this is looking very scary. If Lash has double comm tower against Andy with no comm tower, then Andy's units really will just melt like butter. And you'll be in a lot of trouble. But right now, Dino Dan's looking really good. Ahead in economy, only by a city, but up a comm tower and is threatening to take over the entire corner. But Andy has started to bust out the big boys. We have the medium tank here. And it can get a lot of work done if there isn't... I mean, there's artillery here, so it's going to be very tough for... Wow, that tank did 2 damage. That's impressive. Well, attacking from the road at 6 health? 8 health? Andy with no air, Lash with air. Yeah, Andy also has pretty good air, so I would recommend getting some. There was that one copter, sadly got taken out, but it will be traded out pretty nicely because there's an anti-air here to deal with the copter, and there's all these tanks around to fight these other tanks. But a lot of those big air units, like Bomber and Fighter, they don't die in one hit from anti-airs. Well, they'll die in one hit from a Lash anti-air with 2 comm towers. But the Bomber will, the Fighter won't. But what that means is they can kind of go in, do damage, get hit, give you a ton of charge, and then just get healed up. Which makes them really, really annoying to deal with. This, you hate to see it. 6-6 trade. And he heals up the full, though. It's fine. And a nice thing about Andy's power is that he gets plus 10% extra firepower when he uses super, on top of the 10% you get from just using a power, which gives him that 20% threshold with no comm towers to get those 100% kills on properties. So really, Andy, that's part of why Andy really prefers maps with no comm towers. He's kind of the perfect blend of wanting units to survive and then also being capable of getting those kills. The super doesn't seem worth. Yeah, not a ton got healed, but I can understand wanting to kill this stuff off. Ooh. Okay, there was an anti-air built in response to sending this one forward, so that's good. It's always really scary when you lose your only anti-air and then the copter shows up. Lash could play defensive now? Kind of. I mean, having more comm towers, but even on economy, isn't quite defensive style time. But you could. Andy definitely benefits more from having big units, where Lash is the day-to-day player, so using that to leverage the economy enough that you could then go into more passive play if you really want to, is a thing. And at this point, it looks like that's exactly what's happening. As Andy here, you're going to want to build counter units like these anti-airs to deal with the copters, and then you're going to have to shy away from just building tanks. You're going to want to build the big tanks, the medium tanks, because they'll be harder to kill, so they're much more likely to survive and be healed up. While these little tanks are just going to get destroyed by Lash's own tanks attacking from the nice terrain star territories. Although it's always going to be really tough against someone who's using artillery to rely on these medium tanks. As we can see here, artillery do hit rather hard. They are no joke, and then the other units can come in and clear it out. So it's not easy. It's that nice double comm tower, guaranteeing so much. And at this point, I think PunisherIceman is in really hot water. There's a nice strike force coming up here to try and reclaim everything. But unfortunately, it just has mostly vehicles with it. And PunisherIceman resigns. Yeah, that's a fair resign. Once you lose both comm towers and you don't have a quick way of reclaiming them, it can really snowball out of control. Nice Lash gameplay. Yeah, that was pretty good. I liked both players' recon plays. I thought that was well done. I'm gonna quickly check to see if my old game on that is still around. I don't know if I've ever shown it. I don't even know if I have it, so. Huh. I thought I had it. Or maybe I saw it in a data bank, or yeah, one of the map banks and didn't take it. I'll check real quick. It'll be fun to see someone playing it without the meta knowledge. I'll just quickly check to see if Compi has it in his database, and if he doesn't, I'll just move on. Looking like oh wait, it is here. Surprised I didn't download this. Go7 speed for Dream. Hikaru no Go7 account, yeah. I played the games. I don't know if EFKalcifur is still playing, but they're a strong player that fights to the bitter end. You'll be watching me, no worries. Okay. I don't even remember what I did here. I remember that I fight the recons with my infantry. But other than that... Okay. So, EFKalcifur goes for the harbor before dropping off down here. It's definitely slowed down. My general go-to on maps like this where you have a pre-deployed black boat that goes to another section of the map is to prioritize transporting before going for the harbor. But EFKalcifur goes for a double recon build. I go for an artillery first. That was probably with plans of using these forests to pressure these properties. I'm not sure if I would have wanted to go for the middle or if I would be thinking about Yeah, I think it was probably these two forests were my plans. And then to be able to leapfrog over to this forest or over to this forest. Okay, so now the recon has shown itself. It's hit my poor infantry. I did get this property, though. The double artillery going on out. Build a tank, build a recon to partner with this troop. Go hide in this forest. EFKalcifur. EFKalcifur. I'll just call him Calcifer. Starts moving a recon down into the center. The delayed drop off over here has kind of hurt him a little bit. Econ wise, he's actually ending this turn behind me in property count, which is not great. Yeah, okay. Leapfrog from forest to forest to try to stay safe. Definitely a little bold of me to try and go for this comm tower. I would definitely, nowadays, I would probably try and just preserve the infantry, keep them alive. Should have been a day and night mode. Okay. Wow. This is a nice cluster of infantry moving on down here. Hey, there we go. The artillery have taken up their positions to control these properties. I try and go for this one. Try and be very sneaky, but the recon is very, very, very ready for me. I'm not sending anything up here to deal with this recon. I think at the time I was like, you know what? There's no way that EFKalcifur is going to expect me to just not send anything to deal with the recon. So eventually the recon will just leave. It doesn't want to die to a tank. But that is not the case. And I get to start killing off these infantry and then just take the city. And I make a little line, just continue the bluff, and I'm sending a copter up to deal with it. Supported with more and more infantry. So down here I have to be a little bit careful, because while I do have infantry with this attack, I don't have that many infantry. But I am prepared for anything trying to stop me from taking this city. The recons are just fighting my infantry up here. Which I would definitely recommend to other players to probably send the tank at some point rather than committing quite so hard into the center/middle. But now with the copter support, the infantry can fight the recons. I get to continue capping here. I'll even join cap it. I don't think join capping was really necessary. It's probably even better to keep this at 5 health to try and get Calcifer to commit another vehicle into artillery range. But I'm definitely wanting the property, as we can see here. So Recon gets another kill. Now it's against the side of the map, and there's only one infantry up here, so there isn't really that much pressure being put on my forces. They're just kind of being harassed down. This is a very aggressive attack into the artillery. Now I have the anti-air prepared nice and safe in this forest. So the copter is in some serious trouble. So I'm going to take those nice properties, do a side slip. I don't think the side slip was quite needed yet. I could have generated more charge by just firing and then finishing off with the 5 health. That's okay. Ooh, I don't actually spot this being captured. I see every tile around it. But yeah, I pin this recon in, and then bring the copter on up to deal with that, while transitioning into the middle with this one. Aggro for the win. Fight for the middle. I've tried fighting someone, specifically Silvera, with giving them vision in fog, and it's like impossible. Well, I guess it depends on the map. The fighting and the tactics is very doable, but it's really hard to hold on to your properties in fog when they know exactly what you have defending them. Good chirp, everyone. They're playing 2 games on this map. The version you'll be playing is the new one, I think. So we have EFKalcifur with the super. Actually lets me get this comm tower because didn't want to give up the city capture, I guess. That's always a really tough call, but when you have no supporting units, going for a city capture like this isn't that great, because I'm just going to kill off the 1 infantry and then take it. Although, just sending it to interrupt this comm tower isn't really any better, because I'll still get it just a turn later. Definitely some desperation aggression down here. Gets a tags this artillery, rushes this one with infantry, which is all stuff I can kind of handle. There's another copter for me to take out. This one will probably be the last one for this anti-air to deal with. It's going to be a little bit difficult to protect it that far forward on the road. I think I just opted to not do so. I probably build another one here. I really should have had one last turn. There we go. Usually I would say as soon as your anti-air is moving up to kill a copter and it could potentially die, you should build a replacement. So I really should have built one last turn, but it's okay. Okay. So sadly, these infantry are not supported. So kind of similar to what happened to me up here. They're going to be beat up by vehicles. I guess there's this one copter right now. And over here, I'll be able to kill off this infantry, but I won't be able to kill it off without using this guy. So we'll take another turn to actually go for the city capture. Or no, I can side slip and then I can use the 6 health infantry to finish this guy off. And then go for the capture this turn. There we go. And that also lets me deal with these guys much more aptly. Get to beat up on this poor copter. Wow. Try to take all of these shots. I'm interested to see what I do with this infantry. I could like attack from this city, but that'll be very easy for my opponent to hit it. Yeah, instead I go back to cover this city for my opponent so they can't strike me from it. The other thing I was thinking is I could put it right here to try to wall off and let the artillery repair up. But there's a fighter from EFKalcifur. Very intimidating. Well, that's going to come on down here and take out this copter, no problem. I don't think this reaches right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Unless I manage to get my power next turn, I will not be able to take out this copter with my anti-air. These infantry are really trying to swarm on through here, though. I don't think they quite have enough support to do this. They're injuring my infantry to make it so I can't capture stuff very readily over here, but I do still have these guys up here, and there's plenty of vehicles to mop these guys up. So they'd probably be better off falling back until they have some more support. Or falling back and being used to fight the infantry once I'm actually trying to take the cities. Because yeah, as is, I even get to go with the 8 health medium tank onto the city, so I get to heal up while killing off a unit. You can see how much stuff just gets cleaned up when you are a little too aggressive with them. So I see a fighter here, so I do build an anti-air and then I keep building copters. So usually my plan when I have there's like a sudden fighter like this is I'm going to put copters in very vulnerable positions that the fighter could run up and kill, but has to overextend for, and then I can just finish it off with 2 anti-airs. It tends to be my go-to. That's a really gutsy attack. I'm not quite sure what's up with that, but the anti-air had revealed itself going for an infantry kill last turn. I do like this fighter going up here, though. It's very unlikely that I'm going to have an anti-air at the top. Well, I've already shown that I've been using a copter to really fend for it, for pretty much everything up here. So this is a very good front switch by my opponent. Then I think I'm probably going to do my classic move where I'm going to put a lot of pressure over here, and then I'm just going to suddenly front switch and go for these middle properties in the HQ to get my opponent to react over here. Is when a large vehicle force comes in, like cleans out your infantry, and all these properties are being threatened, you really have to react with big units, like a Neo Tank or Mega Tanks or stuff. And then those kind of have to come down this way, and then they're really stranded in comparison to the other side of the map. So if I can get that reaction over here and then just charge the other direction, I'll have a very good numbers advantage. Ooh, look at that. Really nice scouting. I probably thought this guy was safe, but the fighter is now in my waters. We'll see what this Neo Tank does. That's a really late side slip. Is that all to try and interrupt that capture? I guess so. So here I'm probably going to press this way. Yeah, and you can use your black boat to spot inside the forest, and here you can see I have a battlecopter, anti-air is covering it. There we go, yeah. I'm kind of splitting the forces a little bit, but the big boys are heading in this direction. This Neo Tank is not quite covering. Isn't enough charge for a power here. Fighter goes in, gets another battlecopter, but it will be the last. Ooh, I bought a fighter myself. Wow, I was getting really desperate to deal with that guy. Oh, that was covering, never mind. No carrier for the fighter. Carrier would have been such a great answer. Very nice artillery location to attack from here. And I get to bust on through here and clean up. I'd really like if I had built a transport copter, because that puts such immediate pressure on these properties from this base, which in the situation I'm in right now is like ideal. Okay. Right now, Calcifer is in a little bit of a vision crisis. And the Neotank can't actually hit any of this stuff because of the artillery. Charging on in here. This is a nice placement, a nice thing to do with this 1 health infantry. It's not a huge, or it's not super great on the property like it could be, because I have the possibility of these infantry over here to clear it. But in the forest, this is always going to take 2 units to clear out in some capacity. Someone has to reveal it, and then someone has to hit it, which is a lot of investment to take out just a 1 health infantry. So that's definitely a good play. I'm not sure why that fighter was still there. You can see I'm not really investing any more of my units over here. I just want to do that quick attack, get a reaction, and then hit the other side of the map. That's kind of what I got known for when I was climbing through fog, is these like front switch shenanigans. The idea being any units that can't currently fight are they're kind of like effectively dead for all ongoing combats. So value-wise, I'm going to have a lot more in the fight. Which will let me just completely stomp the other army, and then I can always come back and fight what I left behind. Assuming what I left behind is kind of stuck in a really awkward, stalematey standoff situation, which is kind of like what happens here. Well, I think this will probably break through at this point. The artillery is vulnerable to a Neotank here. Like so. You can see so much invested down here from my opponent. While on the other side of the map, everything's just getting beat up. Got infantry on the way to go for the HQ cap. Artillery looking at it, medium tank, battle copters beating it up. And I can just run away from these Neotanks. And Neotanks are really good, but they're not going to be able to take on this entire army if they try. Aha! I'm ready for the fighter this time. Goes for the carrier. It was a spicy buy to deal with this fighter. Unfortunately, this fighter can actually sit here and kill this battlecopter. So I get to go for all these property captures, and next turn I can always use my power to go for the HQ. And then usually you want to put a really heavy unit sitting on the HQ so that they can't put something on the HQ. Where did my fighter go? My fighter just ran away. It could have gone here and just shot the battlecopter. So many vision problems. And then the rocket to try and cover the Neotank. It sadly doesn't actually cover the HQ here. So I get to run in. Copter, medium tank. I mean, at this point, it's just clean up, and then there's no way to stop the HQ cap. That's GG. So that's how I played the map the first time I played it. So I didn't do any recon strategies. There was a lot of... I did the fast infantry into this area, and I just kind of fought with the recons until I eventually sent a copter to support it. When you have desperation indirects, you know it's over, yeah. But yeah, that's my go-to strategy in Fog, was definitely the hit, front switch hit. A nice 1-2 punch. Alright. Little bonus game. Then we have Zoronius against Monty. Monty's pretty good. Zoronius is pretty good, so I've got high expectations for this game. It's kind of a weird map, though. The comm towers are incredibly contested. They are just like within perfect reach of all the bases. And once they're taken, you have very safe places to put artillery to keep them locked down. There's often a lot of conflict around these comm towers, and the first person. What's going on? Oh, I was pressing the wrong button. That's what's going on. When you started this match, you were 950. You'd gone up 200 points during this match. Wow. Oh, it's true. This is Sonja. This is standard Sonja. Standard Sonja has some things going for her. She has the stronger counterattacks. Her HP's technically a mystery, even though you can calculate, most of the time you can calculate exactly what the health of her units are based on the amount of power that's gained. So the question mark HP isn't super mysterious, although it can kind of look like it. We get the nice city skip. I also favor this city skip because it lets you complete this city in time to interrupt this one, if I remember correctly. Looks like Monty's doing the same thing. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's too slow if they go this fast enough. Over here it's going to be plenty fast because Zoronius did a more middle-centric play. Monty sitting right on that comm tower, making sure that Zoronius can't go for it next turn. Which is really strong. Artillery are also pretty good on this map. We'll see if... Oh, there we go. Let's see if one comes out, and we do. Copters are pretty nice, too. So right now, Monty has a little bit of an edge, which is going to be these mountain cities, having both of them. It's very good. Ooh. Zoronius with a cheeky play here. Comes in, hits this infantry, and then completes this around this tank. Well, the tank will get to strike this other tank first. So it's not like a perfect value play, but it's still pretty cool. And I can understand why Zoronius wouldn't want to hit this tank, because it is a Sonja tank on a city, so it hits back at plus 50% firepower. Those counterattacks. So you might as well have it hurt itself and then just finish it off. So that was a very nice play. And there was nothing actually threatening this tank right here, so it does actually get away with just standing there. Very well done by Zoronius there. But the idea that Monty went for was good. You can kind of just put your units on cities, or your tanks on cities, and then it's like not great to attack them. People can still attack them, but you have a nice counterattack. Another tank trap. Yep. They're good. Usually it's copter traps that you see, but tank traps can happen too. You can see the artillery. It goes back, it just stares at the comm tower. And it's staring at the comm tower in range of the base buys. So it's a really safe artillery. And just Sonja being Sonja here. Tank infantry does not kill infantry. You can't fight Sonja tanks on the city. Yeah, you really don't want to do one for one trades. You can still do 2 tanks kill tank. Just take slightly more damage on the counterattack. Sonja would be just so much better without that bad luck. Like, tank infantry should always kill, regardless of comm tower, unless your opponent has extra defense. But Sonja has those bad luck rolls that they get in the way. Very, very aggressive over here. Just building part of the wall in range of this artillery. And yeah, these airports are really far forward, so you can just kind of build a battle copter in the middle of the fight, basically. This is a very nice little front switch for Monty. I mean, there's nothing more to accomplish for Monty over here. There's no way this comm tower is going to fall very easily. So yeah, I like just going into the middle. On this front, Zoronius' next target would probably be this city. You can attack it from a mountain and then like the side. Or anti-air and then from the mountain. We have a side slip coming here. Copter gets to take out the tank. It is in range of this anti-air, so we'll see how Zoronius defends it. Okay, so the tank, the copter can definitely be taken out here. But I imagine there's going to be like an artillery or something that's placed to defend it. So when the anti-air kills the copter, the artillery can then shoot the anti-air and then something else can finish it off. Yeah. I know, Sonja's the master tactician. And all of her plans just get noped. Oh, okay, so this tank just goes forward. This is looking very good. Oh my gosh. Oh, how disgusting is that? Now, Monty doesn't have a comm tower, but this is a tank on a road. It does have 10% extra defense. It does have 10% extra defense from the adder power. But, like, oh my gosh. No luck would be so much better. The 2-hit KO threshold is assumed no luck. So you would be able to get that. That's resign instantly when you get that. It's definitely fume. Fume at the game. And then you go on Discord and you say, Sonja is tier 5. Like, if you can't kill a tank on the road with 2 tanks, then you're playing a tier 5 CO. I would say no luck makes a lot more sense for Sonja, yeah. It's still a downgrade. But it's at least a downgrade you can manage. That counter break. Counter Break's a tricky one. Because it doesn't actually like make you invincible. So you need... Here it does stop like these tanks from getting hit. But you saw like lots of attacks still go on. Okay, it's a pretty strong push going towards this comm tower. Counter Break's really good when you're using a unit that like kills another unit and then there's other counters that it can fight, which is like specifically the bomber. The bomber is, I think, the only unit that can like dive in, kill a Neo tank. It can die to anti-air, but it also kills anti-airs, so you can just hit that counter break and then you're invincible to the anti-airs. That's like... I guess it also works for copters if your opponent is using copters to fight copters. You can send your copters in, kill the tanks, and then you hit the counter break so their copters can't kill you. It also works for mechs, but mechs are a lot slower. But counter break mechs are pretty funny, because usually they kind of get taken out by first strikes from tanks and anti-airs and recons and infantry. But mechs have like favorable first strikes against all of those. It does work for tanks versus tanks, but the battlecopters come in and kill the tanks. It's why you now take 3 to 4 days a turn to reduce stress. Yeah. Zero tier, 0 tower Sonja might be the most miserable CO in the game. Pretty much. It's why you hate playing Sonja against Andy. Just missing... Like, imagine if Zoronius was Andy instead of Adder. And you send 2 tanks to kill a tank on the road. And it lives. And then he just heals it up. Andy OP. Okay, so Zoronius is doing a good job. Just like a really good job managing these Sonja supers. I don't think I've seen a mistake happen. All of the hits have made sense. Oh, I think Zoronius actually sent me a thing about this game. Where they were tracking... Wasn't this on WordPad or something like that? Cannot. Well, they sent it to me in a way I can't read it. A .xlsx file. Apparently they had notes on all of the units here. Your big issue this game is figuring out how to actually convert your advantage further. Gotcha. Yeah, usually... Well, it looks like you're doing it pretty well. You just kind of look at what's the next most vulnerable property. I'll go for that. Yeah, the spreadsheet of unit HP. When you play against Sonja, you have a move planner tab open, keeping track of all the unit HP. Now you guys go ham. I have never done that, actually. Okay. Well, some pretty good plays there from Monty. Really clearing out this area. So many sacrifices from Zoronius here. I'm not sure what's going on here. Is there like a grand plan to... The copter didn't die? 2 copters died for that. Or that tank went down. I'm going to assume that the 1 health tank had to die for that. So, low health copters are still very useful in like copter fights. You just don't want to send them in first. Usually you have a strong copter come in, hit a strong copter, and then the low health copters finish it off. Assuming you have the space to work with. But then also if you have limited space, you can sacrifice them in. But I wasn't a huge fan of those sacrifices into this copter. I think they would have been better served elsewhere. Okay. I'm not sure why this guy just went up here. I mean, it is blocking for the artillery. I would prefer if the 1 health tank probably went to sit on a city to heal up. Not a huge deal, though. Okay. I guess what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I guess this is to block anti-air from running around, although it does just die to this tank. I think it's better off retreating to a place of safety. It doesn't have very good coverage is the problem. Usually you want to use your low health units as blockers when they have something that's covering them. Like this is a decent case because it's covered by all these other units. So if something went in here to finish it off, there'd be a huge punishment. Wow. Oh, just decides to go in this way. That's fair. That's a very nice play from Monty over here. Zoronius is getting a lot of work done in the center. Although only down to 2 infantry over here. So it's pretty close to Monty not having to pay attention. Diving forward, getting those hits. Oh, there we go. Now we're gonna get some heals. Nice artillery use here. Yeah, retreat with that copter. I agree. Okay, yeah, build more infantry. You really need them over here. Somehow, Monty has actually managed to stay even on economy despite being down 2 comm towers, which usually you get down 2 comm towers, and if your opponent hasn't had to like sacrifice a ton of units to get them. What is that? Was that needed to get the side slip? No, the side slip's already here. Or no, it's not. Okay, that was needed to get the side slip. Okay, that's what was going on there. In general, I would definitely not recommend doing that. Like trading 3 health on the copter for 2 health on the copter. It's like a negative value trade, but it also costs you a whole unit for your unit count, which kind of hurts. This airport is looking very much locked down, though. I've actually never played Go. Oh, and then Monty's resigns here. I think Monty had a surprisingly good hold in the middle, in the mid game. Zoronius just had a way better opener. I've never played Go. I've really never played Go. I know it involves placing different colored like tiles on a very big board. And I think when you surround your opposing players' tiles, you score points. Something like that. Now, my name, the Go7 name, comes from Go7 sounding like my name. It has no other reference. How many side slips do you want, Zoronius? Yes! The +1 move is really nice. Yeah, my IRL name is Go7, basically. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to destroy your theory. Okay. So this is a high funds game. Tier 2, I believe. Maybe it's tier 3. I don't know. They've been mixing up the tiers recently. But I do believe that Andy and Von Bolt are in the same tier. Andy's really good in high funds because you can get those big boys out. And then you also, of course, you're just getting more and more charge. So you get more of those big heals on your big boys. And then you also have a very strong air game as Andy. Your fighters are pretty much uncontestable. I have heard that Go is a very high skill ceiling game. It's often compared with chess. Here you can see Spiky Boy has gone with a big boy right away. Very fast Neo Tank. It took years longer to beat humans at Go. Hey. You know, you gotta take what you can get. Ooh. Dandelion with a pretty nice setup here with the artillery right behind this tank. And then the tank follow-up. So these two tanks can kill this. Oh, it can't, because it's a... There's no comm tower yet, and it's a Von Bolt tank. Oh! Andy is cosplaying as Sonja right now. Chill tunes, good vibes. Okay, well, this is looking really good for Dandelion, actually. Getting control over this area so far. And managing to hold this, this city. I mean, Spiky Boy can just place this artillery here and, like, strike from the mountain. So... probably not going to actually get this city. But looks like both players are going to be in a very similar situation where they have these three, and then they're just trying to take this one from the opponent. Bumble does have one nice thing over Andy in regards to these airports and the comm tower, and that is with the plus 10% base attack that Bumble has, the bomber is going to be able to one-shot this pipe seam, while Andy will not be able to one-shot the pipe seam with the bomber, which can be a very awkward situation. It means that if Andy wants to like get the comm tower in the same kind of speed that Bomb Bolt can, the bomber has to spend an extra turn, or you have to like build a black boat, and the black boat delivers, and then you build a battlecopter to finish off the pipe seam while delivering the bomber back into the middle. And he just has to time it with a super. That's true. You could do that too. Okay. Here we go. This is Andy kind of leveraging the big units here. Andy can be very, very liberal with the Neo tanks, because the artillery does like 5 damage to a Neo tank. So as long as a single artillery shot is your only punishment, you really don't care. And you can leave these sides open and be like, yeah, hit me. It'd be just an awful play for Dandelion to like send this Neo tank in. Not only because there's double artillery, but also it gives so much charge to Andy, and then Andy can just fully heal the Neo tank and hit back. And the Mega tanks have now started rolling out. Andy has very good Mega tanks, as one would imagine. Mega tanks take not very much damage from everything except other Mega tanks, and so the damage they do take generates a lot of value. You can see how much charge happens when just 2 Neo tanks hit each other. Zoom. And then when the Mega tanks get involved, it's even more. Probably... Well, I guess it's fine to not use the super for doing the shot, because you can always kill this off with a Neo tank if you really want to. Okay. Neo tank goes in, hits the Mega tank from the forest, gets knocked down to 3, and then the Andy super heals it right back up to 8. Now the extra movement allows this infantry to make it onto the mountain and clear the city. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Interesting. Okay, so the Mega tank decides to just sit back here and kill an infantry. That doesn't take any ammo, which is nice for the Mega tank, because they only have 3 shots before they're out of ammo. Ooh. Oh, that's a good that's a very good Von Bolt super. That was a mistake. Probably. In this situation, you can do eagle stuff with your artillery, so because none of these units can move, so you can just place both of your artillery in range of this Mega tank and then shoot that, which I would highly recommend. In this case, there's just going to be the one. A Mega tank on the road will take like 25-ish, probably, from an artillery. Could be wrong about that, though. But it's important to kill it. I think it's 15. On the road? Rockets do 25? I thought rockets did like 30. But anyway, mega tanks are very beefy. But what you can do is you in that case you can go artillery shot, and then medium tank finish it off. But if it doesn't die, well, okay, yeah, that did like 1 damage. 15 then. If it doesn't die, it just gets healed up by Andy. Like in this case. It'd make you really sad. Andy should really get a fighter. Andy fighters are like impossible to deal with. There we go. We have Andy fighter on deck. A triple artillery, the Von Bolt artillery, are kind of walling off here. Ooh. So this is Andy leveraging the fact that anti-airs do not one-shot bombers. So this anti-air will probably bring this bomber down to 2, maybe 3, and because Von Bolt doesn't have the comm tower yet, and that will give Andy a bunch of charge, and then Andy can just heal it back up to 7 or 8. Their base is 15. Gotcha. Oh, brought it all the way down to 1. But yeah, it can't kill, so. And he gets to heal that back up to 6. Hi. I think today's been going pretty well. The comm tower on this map is often neglected. I don't think that Von Bolt should have neglected it because Von Bolt's got that one shot on the pipe scene. And I also think that Von Bolt shouldn't neglect it because you really want to have the extra firepower against Andy. You see, here's that mega tank that got beat up before. Let's back up the full. Just clear the way. Kill the bomber with this fighter. Attack, attack, attack. Here, Andy or Spiky Boy doesn't want this area to get hit by the missile, so makes a very large magnet. Didn't need to make it quite that large because you can also rely on at least one of these bases to build something, but that's okay. I guess didn't want to lock a base for a turn. Or do a base skip, which is fine. The 6 health bomber does go down. You can see here, anti-air does enough damage to knock this down to 4. Looks like Von Bolt is not going to use the super this turn. It's going to try and keep that pressure on Spiky Boy so that magnets kind of have to be made every turn. Or I guess magnets either have to be made every turn or you have to leave yourself somewhat vulnerable. But at the same time, it does mean that Von Bolt isn't getting like those extra stats or anything like that. Spiky Boy will just get closer and closer to another super. Here's a pretty nice attack, but you can see here what happens. The bomber comes in. It hits this down to 4, and you see like pretty good chunk of charge happens from that. Oh, but Dandelion does finish it off. If Dandelion didn't get to finish that off, then you start running into serious problems because then Andy just heals off all of his missile damage. But that was very nice. The only problem for Dandelion is like This bomber is in range of this fighter. There's double artillery staring at these Neo-tanks. So that means that these units are going to die, both die, but Spiky Boy is going to have a very easy time making it to the power threshold to get another super. Ooh, that Mega Tank holding its ground at 1 health. The fighter gets that kill. Tank will finish this off. To attack over here, this fighter was at 4, heals all the way back up to 9, and gets to run up and get this nice first strike. Get double artillery, double artillery shot. Get the tank first strike. And now these big units that had been stunned are healed all the way back up to full. It's really hard to fight Andy when you're dealing with these in high funds with all of these really big units that can put a lot of pressure on you. And that's a nice kill on that fighter, though. And a lot of the normal ways of deterring them just doesn't work. Because they're fine just getting hurt. Ooh, this is very dangerous, though. Whenever the Mega Tank runs out of ammo, any vehicle can hit this, and then the Mega Tank can't... Well, it will shoot back, but it'll shoot back with machine gun fire. Which will do basically no damage. So, like, medium tanks can gang up and kill it when it's out of ammo. Ooh. Not quite sure why that sat on the mountain. You can see there, medium tank is to shoot the Mega Tank and take no damage back. All because of running out of ammo. Probably needs an APC. APC's pretty decent on this map anyway, because the bases are a little far away from the middle properties. And of course, Andy also has the nice pressure of being able to heal units that are the infantry that are capturing properties. So you can't just run up and hit this for 5 or less. You have to do 6 or more. Otherwise, Andy can just take the property anyway. Seems like this guy can't be used to interrupt it. It has to be like this Neo tank or this mega tank. It can't be like the battlecopter can't interrupt it. It's a very steep ask to send one of these guys to interrupt the property in comparison to like this guy. Ooh, Ex Machina hits here. Very nice. And he's going to be able to heal up all that damage. But it's a nice stun. The fighter barely didn't get stunned there. I think it might have been a roll. Probably not. I don't think Dandelion could have gotten that kill. Might not have seen that this fighter isn't actually stunned. It's like the units right next to it are. Is it hyper upgrade? How much did that heal? 260,000. Typhon's numbers. That healed 70,000 value. That's a big heal. Some standard games, the standing army is 70,000 value. Ooh. Dandelion had to do a base skip to get this bomber. So the tank is able to sneak by and sit here, which is annoying. This copter might be able to kill it. Copter infantry could probably kill it. Instead it has to use a whole mega tank to go backwards. Ooh. You can see here the power of the mega tank just one shots that Neo tank, no problem. Another fighter gets sent in to finish off this bomber. And this is something that Andy does to you, right? It's like, this is a 6 health bomber, but on Andy's next super, that's a 10 health bomber. So I can't just like leave it alone. But having to sacrifice another fighter to try and kill it, or to kill it, hurts a lot. But the Andy pressure is on. Although over here, definitely something to be said for finding a way. Looks like nothing can. But given an opportunity, sacrificing something to kill off this infantry would pay dividends, because that's the only thing that can capture these properties. Is the lone infantry. And there isn't even one built this turn, so you can save a lot of money just killing off this one guy. Which is something that happens a lot in high funds. When you have so many big units flying around, infantry can just kind of get swatted, and then you run out of infantry and you can't capture anything. Mega tank down. The Andy forces putting on a lot of pressure on this base now. The infantry's getting this capture, probably. Andy super next turn, most likely. Just to the nature of high funds and how expensive the units are, you end up generating a lot of charge when you want to. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. There's not going to be enough conflict here. Although Von Bolt really didn't go in to allow it, so at this point, Dandelion, I don't think there's much that can be done. This looks like it's a magnet here. This infantry is actually, both of these infantry are currently threatening to take this lab next turn after they are filled up with a super. Yeah, Dandelion resigns there. Just that Andy value, it just takes you down. Definitely, I would say for Von Bolt, you want to grab. Looks like Andy at the very end here is getting the comm tower, but Von Bolt really, really wants the comm tower against Andy. That gives you that 20% firepower boost, which lets you kill off more Andy units, which is a big deal.
Access granted.
But very well played. And next we have another boy. We have Lazyboi following up Spiky Boy. My bow tie back on. Fighting Tordread, apparently. On Inkagark's favorite map, reforming. This map has received some dislike. There's a few kind of openings you can go for. Looks like both players decided to go with Rachel. I personally like Sonja for tier 3 on this map to help give me easier time supporting my artillery and deal with these forest choke points. But it is base light, so Rachel's always going to be good. Okay, let's see how they go about this. You can definitely rush the comm towers and try and have that double comm tower lead. It's really hard to hold them both. Ooh, it looks like Lazyboi is going for a comm tower rush right now. And we'll see what Tordread's opening is going to be here. It might just be the more classical. Looks like it's... Oh. Lazyboi is not going for a comm tower rush. It's going for a forward city rush. Okay. Interesting. It costs a fair bit to go for that city, I think. But it is a very contested one, so I can understand going for it. And then just... Looks like the plan is to fall back, grab this city, have the artillery go into this forest, most likely. You can see how Tordread going for a very fast artillery to clear this out. So did Lazyboi. You can see how forward these airports are. They make the controlling this area pretty easy. And it also makes it basically mandatory to go for these early anti-airs like Tordread did. Because not only if your opponent goes for like a fast copter, not only is it a fast copter what you have to respond to, it's a fast copter that's built on the front lines. So this is arguably even too slow of an anti-air, although it did show up kind of in time to protect the units as the units showed up. So in that case, it's like the perfectly timed. They're faking the comm tower rush because you get scouted. You get scouted? You can definitely comm tower rush without them knowing. I would prefer if there was a recon with this army. Looks like there's one on the way. But the nice thing about having a recon is it can give vision for this artillery and deny their comm tower. You can like make it to this forest. Airport recon. This one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see you. Go like over here. Oh, I see what you mean. Normally the lander's moving towards it. Gotcha. Gotcha. But you don't need to, the lander delivering the APC over here is not necessary for the comm tower rush. Very nice artillery value here. We're gonna have some artillery stare-offs. This is what I would say is a problem of this map, is that it's got a lot of these choke points, especially choke points that involve forests. In fog can stall the game very quickly. Because in fog you already have like the defender's advantage, in that the attacker always has to have extra units used to just combat the fog itself and see the targets. So making attacking any harder can kind of be bad. Looks like Tordread's gonna be able to overwhelm the bottom though. And it'll just kind of come down to whether or not Tordread is going to be able to, at the same time, defend the top. The artillery did get a nice shot on this tank though, which is going to make it tough to break through. Although having a 2 health recon to finish with your 2 health tank is nice. Ooh. Some very aggressive placements here. This artillery is protecting this tank from the attack on the city. We got the 2 anti-airs to deal with these copters. So, depending on how Tordread tries to deal with this, we could see them just completely swap top and bottom. Okay, we have the double anti-air up here, and then we're building copters from the middle. Usually copters get built here because it's farther forward, but if you want to have your copters go to the other side, and definitely build it from the like island. Copter diving on through, getting a hit on the artillery and the tank. Having your artillery, this is where artilleries on cities are really good. So we got knocked down to 5, and it just heals up to 7, and then it gets to shoot while still repairing in the future. So both of the copters can go down this turn. Ooh, covering fire. Ooh. As a very good covering fire for Lazyboi here. The health and value, and then the infantry one hit down here. Doesn't stop this capture from going through. Tordread's nemesis, yeah. Monster missiles indeed. Tordread hates those missiles. Did Lazyboi play around the missiles? No, a little bit, I guess. It looks like a magnet was attempted over here. It might have been too much of a magnet. I'm not sure. But up here still got hit. I think if Lazyboi hadn't gone for this capture, then the missile, you could have moved the infantry away so the infantry missile doesn't hit up here. And it definitely would have worked out a lot better. But that's kind of tricky. You see a capture, you want to go for it. Ah! Get him! Thank you. It's been a while, I think, since a bot's attacked. Okay. So Tordread's got a little bit of an income advantage for now. Definitely has the pressure advantage going on over here. We'll see how it all plays out. And now their econs equal, but Tordread has the city being captured. Ooh! Lazyboi should have known about this anti-air, because unless Lazyboi thought that this anti-air was this anti-air. But that hurts. Losing the copter on build and then having it, I mean, you do get to take it out with the medium tank and then build another copter, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And it does give you a charge advantage. Yeah, you get that play. But it still hurts. I'm surprised this artillery got placed here. It definitely should have. I guess it couldn't go here. It needed the blocker. Ooh. Tordread is attacking in over here. It's definitely a very spicy attack. It's crossing this middle line, so it's definitely an overextension, and the artillery protecting these tanks are not, or I guess the artillery is not very healthy. So that was very much a bold attack. The copter did live that anti-air attack though, so that's good for Tordread. And it looks like the medium tank coming down here with the battlecopter support now actually was enough to push Tordread out of the bottom, which is a big deal. Ooh, the 1 health fights are always so dramatic. Covering fire is definitely going to hit down here. And then 2 over here, there's a very nice magnet set up by Lazyboi. You're really utilizing those free transports to sucker in the missile. So Tordread is going to get the infantry missile over here. We got infantry and health over here. That's pretty good. The other one hit right here. So they both did a much better job at building magnets this time around. Definitely, I would say. Oh, a lot of stuff retreated over here. I was gonna say that Spiky Boy, or Lazyboi, my bad, is in a bit of an advantageous position, but kind of had to give up in the center here. Really, I would suggest putting the 7 health medium tank on a city for 1 turn. Because you're Rachel, so that'll heal all the way up to full. And as I discovered, a 7 health medium tank just doesn't quite do everything you want it to do. Using magnets are just making the effects of the missiles happen later, essentially. Sort of. It's also making sure. Well, it's making sure your front line doesn't just immediately die, and it's making sure that the units you want to have hit get hit. But it does weaken your reinforcements. Yeah. But if your front line just dies, as can happen against missiles, then your opponent can just take all your properties. Which is the worst case scenario. I actually have to be right back. I gotta put some chickens to bed. Quick break, sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. Oh, good night. Okay. So it looks like Lazyboi is kind of setting this up for Tordread to overextend into. Which might work. Really needs to heal this though. No, it looks like Tordread's going for a much more patient play. He's having the artillery covering the capture. Is very good. Classic tactics. Very copter heavy here. But that's usually going to happen on these base light maps. You got to get that unit count. Okay, we're just really going for this property, and doesn't actually have very much at all defending down here. So if Lazyboi doesn't have any vision with this army, but if Lazyboi wants to go for it, these properties are definitely takeable. Sends to dive on in here. Getting the recon's nice. Pretty good blocker with these infantry. The Tordread super though is gonna be absolutely devastating if Tordread can get it, which I imagine probably can with this many copters on the field. If not, then Lazyboi might get a super in response of their own. Looks like there isn't going to be a Tordread super here. Quickly builds a magnet in the back. That's only going to suck up the infantry one, I think. If Lazyboi is able to, well, I don't know. It's sometimes tough to tell because you do have to kill units in order to possibly generate the charge for that super. With a medium tank having to hit that tank. Very unfortunate. That might have been a mistake. Lazyboi might have needed to send some infantry to hit that recon first to get enough charge. It looks like just a hair off. Four 400 charge off. So yeah, needed to just have one infantry hit that recon before shelling it with the artillery. That is very unfortunate. The missile would have hit here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the value and the HP missile would have hit. Actually, the HP missile would have hit over here because these guys are 3 health instead of 4 health tanks. So this would have been the infantry and the HP missile, and then the value one would have hit on the front lines. Ouch. It's hitting everything on the front lines. 20,000 in value. But it didn't double up on anything on the front lines. So it could definitely be worse. But very painful nonetheless. And then Tordread gets even more stuff built up in this magnet. Value and HP and infantry hit here. Value hits here. So value still hits the front line, which is something. It's when you have multiple ones hitting your front lines, though, you just die. As Tordread has some experience with. However, down here, I mean, Lazyboi has some serious threats. All of these infantry are very injured, but they're very cheap and they're quickly healed up, so it's not a big problem. Since Rachel heals 3 at a time, these actually just had to be on a city twice to be back up to full. It could have been worse, yeah. Yeah, the infantry missile only prioritizes infantry. That's the only thing it cares about. And then it's going to hit whatever spot that hits the most infantry. Capturing infantry as double is the most top left spot. So it won't care if your own units are in the way. It won't care if it could have hit more units. And if there's no infantry on the map, instead it will hit the top left corner. Or none of your opponent's infantry on the map. Okay. I like what Lazyboi is doing down here. Probably a join for this guy would have been good at some point. Okay. Medium tank is getting some serious work in, going in, doing some damage, go back, heal up. Ooh, didn't quite get that kill. Tordread is going ham with these copters. I would personally be a little worried about. There they get picked off a bit. Yeah, Lazyboi starts falling back over here. This recon does not quite see the buildup of copters over here. See how this goes down. I'm liking Lazyboi's bottom a lot more than the top here. Arguably you don't want to join there. You can just have the 1 health infantry become a blocker instead and just have the full health 1 cap. It's also fine to join and just keep making so they have to knock you down lower. Okay. Tordread has another super here. I guess joining also reduces the infantry count here. So this is cast for 4 infantry, which is what we have over here, but this is more the top left. So the infantry missile will hit over here. I imagine the value one's going to hit over here. And then the HP one will hit like 5 units. This is also 5 units, so infantry and HP over here, value up here, might get. Oh, the value hits here for the copter and the medium tank. So that was a very well done magnet. Especially with this medium tank, because it will just heal up to 10 again. It was down to like 6? Yeah, well, the join cap and just capping with a new infantry complete the capture in the same number of turns. However, when you're dealing with like infantry missile, then reducing your infantry count in the area is definitely beneficial. You don't know that? No, you know that. Who knows what's coming to stop? Yeah, that's true. But the stuff that's coming to stop when you've got like the forces around, that's like the ideal. If the stuff comes to try and stop you, then you kill their army. Yeah, oh, sorry, I actually talked about them. Let's see what's Lazyboi's missiles looking like. Infantry here, 2 up here. Okay, there's one, the value one hit here using the lander. Landers are kind of expensive. Infantry 1 hits down here. It's just 4 infantry, but it's the only infantry. It's the only units actually contesting this entire area, so that's really good. And then the HP 1 hits up here. I'm surprised. Huh. I'm not sure why the infantry 1 didn't hit up here. Because this guy does count for double. It might have to do with this guy being 4 health. Not sure. The goat song on the playlist. Tordread resigns after that missile strike, huh? Definitely going too ham with these copters. I think the resign's probably fair, considering the bottom is completely lost at this point. GG. Very well played. Day 29, a brutal Rachel battle. Ooh, next we have a content. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Content versus Thavidu. The live game. Go7 Slayer game. Tordread is so aggro, yeah. Tordread should have built battleships? I don't know about that. I know this map. Probably do. Off the top of my head, I don't think I know this map. Nothing. Twice? Actually, no. This is probably something about that video. What's up, Thavidu? Good luck in your game against Content. We got Jess versus Koal in a live game. Content's no slouch in a live game, but neither is Thavidu. We'll see how this map plays out. It looks like there would be definitely some infantry combat, so I'm surprised that Content went with Jess. And I'm saying there's probably infantry combat because of all of these shortcuts that infantry get to take that vehicles can't take, like walking over the rivers, walking over the mountains, which kind of opens it up to infantry versus infantry. In fact, I'm surprised Content even went for this capture. I don't know why you would go for that capture. Like, this infantry is definitely going to hit. Wait. This guy has 4 captures to choose from, and there's only one that can be interrupted. I'm not quite sure what happened there. And then there's a tank built way over here. I might be missing something with this move, but seems very good for Thavidu there. Very exposed comm towers. These ones are pretty exposed. These ones... those might be some of the safest comm towers I've ever seen. These ones are, you know, they're a little exposed. These ones behind a wall of mountains that's behind the double base. Safest comm tower. Might be the safest comm tower that's annoying to get to, though. Okay. Content decided to stay and fight. Like a true Jess player. Decent map for Javier? Yeah, you know, it's okay. You know, there's the downside that it's hard to take the 4th comm tower in the map because it's so guarded by your opponent. But at the same time, your transport copter is probably beefy enough to make it. What? I guess it's to extract this 4 health infantry. Yeah, I like the tank covering the tank here. Content's gonna have to do something about this because pretty soon Thavidu can just walk up and take it. That is not a safe hit. I'd be interested to know how fast Content's taking this turn. It must be really fast. But this is a live game. What? Oh, it is a safe hit. Ah! The replay is counting the route to go through this city. But then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't reach through the forest. There we go. It's probably 5+2. Okay, so that was a good hit from Content. Some really nice blocking going on here, just trying to get in the way. I think if Thavidu wants to like stop a capture, punish this, might still be able to punish it with just using a tank and then these 2 infantry, and then the tank can come through and hit from the city. That's probably what's going to happen there. Here we go. You can see what I was talking about, where Thavidu can just walk up and take this city at this point. This is not protecting this capture, but only a tank can hit this, so yeah, that is indeed what happened. There was a nice little breakthrough. Just fall back, heal up the tank. Sounds good. Goes for this capture. There's the single tank coverage. I don't like this move. This guy will heal up to 8. And then Thavidu can send a tank over here to get this kill, while also then covering the tank, or just have the tank go in the city. I think I would prefer tank in the forest and just cover it. Ooh, I like this play from Content over here, though, bringing this copter in to help with the tank fights. That was an interesting little sacrifice that Thavidu did this to get this infantry down to 9 health, slow down the capture down here, give more time to react. Ooh, nice. Content with the Jess copter interrupts. I respect it. Gets this property. It does look like a really tough one to interrupt, which is what Content's had to spend a lot of units trying to stop this. A nice tank first strike from the city. A strike over here, and a nice block over here. Okay. Conten's been very aggressive with these, like, infantry walls, but they've also been working out very nicely. There's no complaints. We have another case of Thavidu forcing Content to use a tank to go for an interrupt. This is where Thavidu wishes they were Andy, so then, like, not only does this force the tank to interrupt, but it doesn't even interrupt because you just heal. However, that would be tier 3, so. Yeah. I don't think Content's going to be getting a comm tower soon. There's one infantry around here that's healthy enough to go for it. We do have the Jess power. Okay. Nice hits on these tanks. Diving in down here. Does this reach? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Aw. It would take a Jess Super to stop that comm tower. Not quite there, but a very strong attack. And the anti-air backup is pretty big. It won't be able to protect this tank, which could be a problem. We'll see what the copter ends up doing. Copters are always really sneaky. The Koal Super is going to be nice here because that brings this tank into this fight to hit from the road. So this was kind of the classic. You do a normal power, I do a super. Oh, it didn't even hit from the road. Okay, that's probably a mistake. You definitely use this 1 health tank to heal and let this full health tank hit from the road at plus like 50% total. Or plus 60% because of the comm tower. Because I think the super gives plus 40% from the road, and then you get plus 10% for having a power active, and then plus 10% for having a comm tower. So definitely use the road firepower boost if you can. Got the other comm tower. Oh, you're right. There's even another 10%. So 70% more? Jeez. Okay, so that was pretty good. And very importantly, there's no tanks in range of hitting this anti-air, so it's successfully warding these copters away from this side, but it isn't really stopping them from attacking down here. I guess there's a copter over here. Wait, that copter. Oh no. I guess the idea is like the anti-air can kill. The anti-air is being overloaded copter-wise. I see. It has to choose between 2 copters. Chooses that one. Then hit the tank from the forest. Okay. Sure, I mean that's fine. This comm tower is not happening. 1 tile off from being able to hit this. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could hit this copter, the tank. But I guess there's no follow-up support, so the copter, the anti-air just dies. It's fine. You go over here instead. Okay, Thavidu huge fallbacks, which is okay because there's not really that many infantry that can take these cities right now. Instead goes for a Neo tank. Content responds with a medium tank against Neo tank. It's not a great response, but with copter support, it can definitely work. And there's always the Jess power to give more move and more firepower. Oh. Thavidu putting pressure up here. The anti-air is in some hot water, though. Actually, all of these units are in some hot water. They have no coverage against these tanks. Not ideal. Desperately try and protect the anti-air until the reinforcements arrive. Okay. Copter fights over here. Tanks are all brought down to 1. It's very good for content here. And we have the forced march busted out. To 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I guess you could always just strike from here instead. Finishes off the anti-air. That's very nice. Get to kill that tank, and then these guys can retreat to try and heal up. This guy can make it to here. This guy can make it all the way down to here. We get the join cap. Then block the way with this guy. Probably wanted to block this tile instead, so that this guy can't just walk around with the powers. Oh. Anti-air's coming out. Very, very nice infantry block against this medium tank. Neo tank's getting involved and is very secure on top of the city. I like that turn. That's a nice power. Content's going to be able to clean up quite a bit in the top right. I'm not sure what is going to be managed in the bottom left though. Just power's gonna hurt. Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh no! Probably sent this tank down here and forced this one over here. It needed to go here and here to make it so an infantry couldn't just walk up and kill it. It's okay. Still up by quite a few units. The weak units are taking each other out. It's not a huge loss to be in artillery range when you've only got like an infantry and a 3 health mech and a 2 health tank. Ooh, this medium tank is just kind of chilling here on this city. But it is a medium tank with a Jess super active. The Neo tank doesn't really want to slam into that. The joins just keep on coming over here. Anti-airs are on the way, and then we have some tank reinforcements, which will finally... That was probably not worth hitting with this tank. I'd much rather hit like the full health infantry, because otherwise the full health infantry just walks on there anyway. But I guess you're scared of the joins, so it's fine. Okay. There isn't anything to really deal with the anti-airs at this point. So, looks like Jess is pretty happy with the situation. The anti-airs are covering all the vehicles. This is a very bold medium tank, because if Thavidu gets the normal power, this Neo tank just walks up and kills it. But it looks like Thavidu isn't planning any of that kind of shenanigans. Would have to attack in with these battle copters, and might even have to like sacrifice one to get that kind of charge. Might as well just wait a turn. It's the medium tank is still living dangerously. One tile out of the Neotank's range. Okay. Yeah, definitely interrupt going in over there. Completes that capture. We're really getting low on infantry. It's just 10 and 6. Anti-air gets to kill a whole copter, which allows for the normal power, so now the Neotank can go take out that medium tank. Not quite sure why the 1 health infantry was sent into sacrifice. I guess that opened up the possibility of completely killing. Here comes the Neotank. Hi. Goodbye. And this bomber. Bomber hasn't done anything except it did scare away one of these anti-airs. And now that there's 3 of them over here, Content would be able to do something. Although down 6k, I didn't even realize. Down 6k income. So much fighting over this one comm tower. But you really don't want to have to spend 2 vehicle hits on that guy. It's the only capturing infantry right now. These guys are on their way. This is a really bad situation for Content. This anti-air kind of left left his buddies, so now this bomber has a choice. It can either just like one-shot this guy, or it can one-shot this guy and then let the tanks beat up this guy. Let's just go kill that one. Another medium tank built to try and deal with a Neo tank is just not what you want to see. And Thavidu's had really good infantry placements and dispersion. Like, there's always an infantry over here to go for this comm tower. Ends up sacrificing this tank to delay any of these captures. Oh no, we have a little... Well, that might not be a misplaced copter. Something I often do is just put the copter in the anti-air's range, so it has to overextend. And then you just kill the anti-air. So that might be what Thavidu is doing there. Oh no. So this base is super dead. The bomber can reach it. The copters can reach it. The Neotank can kill that. You just put the 1 health copter on top of the base. There's nothing in range to stop the HQ cap. It's over. GG. Well fought. Content barely out of range. That was a pretty good live game. I liked there was some really sharp tactics. So much was invested around these comm towers, I gotta say. But very, very well played to both players there. The Jess pick was spicy. There was a lot of infantry combat on that map. Not Apple yet. Left. Right, okay. Misspelled so many times. Yeah, for the map. You're weirdly better in live game than in async? I think there's quite a few players that feel a lot better in live game than async. Yeah. I definitely feel the opposite. Hey, Fluff is back. We have another Grimm game. HomeStarDragon versus Jess. I would say that Jess is really good against Grimm. Her vehicle advantage matters. Like, it means she really, really trounces Grimm's vehicles. And then it doesn't super matter that her infantry have that minus 10% attack, because his have got that lower defense. Fluff was not banned. For this map in general, yeah, I don't think Jess would be the best pick, but that is okay. Decides to go for this walk by there. Very nice. HomeStarDragon with a really fast comm tower. Going for this property makes sense. It's very contested. Actually, both players are going for a fast comm tower. You can definitely delay that comm tower. Just go for this city first for just a little more money, or go for this city first. Really, both of them. As you can see, it's still a little bit until combat happens. But yeah, there's a nice choke point coming into this. Artillery, yep, there we go. Artillery are really good over here. This is a very contested comm tower, so getting it right away is good for HomeStarDragon. Unlike this comm tower, which is might be even safer than the last one. Eighth replay for today. Hey, I'm on a roll. Okay. Kind of interesting that this recon, it got built, but it didn't get used very aggressively. You can see how quickly this comm tower suddenly gets under pressure. Like, the units start spilling out. This artillery might be used for this. We're trying to hold this. This is a map with battleships banned, by the way. And you can either use a transport copter to get these two cities, or you can get a black boat. They're both totally fine. I imagine, I personally think black boat's probably better. It costs more, but after you drop off, you can use it as a really nice blocker and healer in this middle region. But the transport copter is also fine. Can we ban banning units? I would definitely prefer if units did not get banned, and instead the map was fixed. Yeah, Black Boat also lets you take... Well, Transport Copter does too, but... The battleships that you can build from these ports are rather strong. Look at that! Pop. Pop. Poor Grimm. You can see how contested this is. You have to really be aggressive on defending this. You want to hold these comm towers. Okay. A Grimm Recon. Pow. Casually one-shotting that infantry with the double comm tower. Very nice. And now this copter has got its work cut out for it. It tries to defend this one. Ooh, now we have Jess with triple comm tower. Even the Jess infantry are swarming this battlecopter. I'm not convinced about this. It's kind of doing the recon's job for it, which I don't like. Because now all of these infantry very easily cleaned up by the opponent's infantry. I wasn't a huge fan of this, but it kind of worked out. And they're not under immediate pressure, so they can like heal up. Got the Grimm Knuckle Duster. Gonna have some really good tank on tank violence right now. Daring indeed. Yeah, there's a anti-air that's going to be able to tag this. Ooh, the battlecopter went back to heal. Nice. Knuckle Duster damage. Not quite sure there's a better attacker there. Yeah, I would have used the full health to go after the city, I think. Finish that off. But it might not have. I don't know what the exact damage rolls were like, so that might not have worked out great. Very. I'm not super convinced on that one because that anti-air is there. Turbocharge after moving the tank is a little sad, but that's okay. Breakthrough. I'm not sure why the tank hit from over here. Yeah. Oh, I see. Never mind. Now I see why. Very nice. It's to get out of the mech's range. It does let a tank hit you from the city, but that's definitely better than having a mech hit you. Can't really argue with that. Now the artillery are getting involved. This anti-air, by the way, could have killed this copter, so didn't have to go after this infantry, but I guess going after the infantry let this guy go do this wraparound. Okay. Yeah, the anti-air kills off the copter down here. And I think this is blocked off 1, 2, 3 well enough that CatWithYarn will not be able to reach that guy. Not without a power, at least. Let this tank kill this infantry. Unless this guy can reach. Nope, went off. Although it's very possible that Shadow will be able to get the power this turn. It looks like these infantry are doing numbers on these battlecopters. A little sacrifice. So close. Hey, there's the turbocharge. Now this tank can kill this infantry. I think the tank would have just one-shotted it, but that's okay. And then comes this tank. Finish it off. Very nice. One-shot them. Oh my gosh, hello, Mega. So Grimm Megas are super, super overkill, but that's only when you're looking at them at full health. When they're at like 5 HP, then the Grimm extra firepower starts mattering again. I These infantry are anti-air in disguise, yeah. It's that negative 20% defense. And HomeStarDragon has resigned. Yeah. Being down 3 comm towers to 1 hurts a lot. And Jess is just so strong against Grimm. Arguably stronger than Adder. Very well played. We've really seen the progress with Shadow's games there. Huge respect for the land battleship. That's fair. That's fair. We'll probably get one more in here. We have another Monty game. Against Jonathan 2357. Oh my goodness. It is a Javier mirror? Marathon sesh, yeah. I think this was sent in by Jonathan, so you get to be Cobalt Ice. Okay. So, oftentimes artillery are used on this map. But in this case, we probably won't see too many indirects for this Javier mirror. So that's probably going to mix this map up a lot because the choke points are going to become really hard to break through. Oh, have a good one, Thavidu. They're going to become really hard to break through unless you have very heavy tanks. Ooh, Jonathan going for the dirty comm tower denial. While over here, forcing Monty to make a decision as to whether or not to go for this capture or interrupt the comm tower and lose infantry. Okay, well, we will see if Jonathan is able to maintain this denial. It's definitely possible. Never mind, it's not possible. The tank block is too good. It pretty much would have required an indirect. But, you know, I respect going for it. Because, I mean, if you're in the Javier mirror and you're up an entire comm tower on your opponent, then it's pretty much GG. And for this tank hit, which is totally fine. It's an even trade, but it does force this tank out of here. Okay. The choke points are starting to show themselves here. The infantry are very easily going to fill these up. And so far, no indirects have been built. You can use indirects against Javier. And day-to-day wise, they can still do some decent damage. It's just when the powers get used, they are completely useless. I did like how these infantry withstood that entire onslaught. Very impressive. With the mech coming over here, this is a very valuable mech. Gonna force this tank off of the city. Be another mech. So this is kind of the answer that Jonathan's going for. Instead of artillery, it's going to be mechs attacking from the mountains, and also copters. And Monty's responding with a copter of their own and an anti-air. Okay, a huge infantry swarm coming for this city. Unfortunately, it's just infantry. This really would have liked to have a mech with it to help deal with the tanks, kind of like what Jonathan has going on here. Or maybe an artillery would also work. Something like right here so that this tank wouldn't be able to get involved. Because on the road, the tank is effectively on a city for other COs against artillery. You'll still hit it pretty decently. Some cultured mech spam. We've got 3 mechs. We're okay. Once we hit double-digit mechs, we can say we can truly call it some cultured mech spam. Similar to the bomb bullet mirror, when Javier has comm towers in the mirror, you just cannot two-shot opposing units, same type units on cities. So you get to just kind of put a tank on a city and be like, have fun dealing with this. And it matters a lot for these 2 shots, because when you look at how you approach any of these properties, there's two tiles that are close to you, and then 2 tiles that are close to the opponent for the most part, because a lot of this is all diagonal. So reaching that 3rd side is often very difficult. And it also takes an entire other unit. Which, if there's any sort of walling, then it becomes impossible. Okay. Monty's going for this property here. Jonathan was threatening to have a 3-side hit on this property, so this tank falls back. It can still be hit on 3 sides using this copter, but the anti-air is covering. Okay. Okay. This anti-air is covering this tank. This tank is the one that's interrupting this city. We have tank. Infantry manages to clear. And then Jonathan gets some nice attacks in here. Cover with some mechs. This guy's a little exposed, but that's okay. The mechs are effectively serving as the artillery replacements in this game. Just behind the other units, getting ready to strike out. Okay. It's a very dangerous fight that's going on over here. Luckily for Monty, Jonathan cannot just 2-shot their way through all of this, except from the top they could do it if they can find a way. But through the bottom, this guy holds the line. And over here, it looks like Jonathan's going to be able to wipe out a lot of these infantry. And then leave Monty with primarily vehicle-based defense force. Which is fine for defending, because you don't need to capture more properties to defend. Looks like Jonathan did find the double hit, eat the wall, come down to this tank, get the 3 hit to kill it, be able to walk past and hit this other tank. Very nice. You can see that's why walls are only as powerful as their ends, otherwise that's what happens. And there was one strong end and then one weak end. Alright, Monty gets to use the power shield here, so first power. Didn't quite get that kill, but this infantry can finish it up. Anti-air can take out this mech. So we might have a response. This guy barely held that line. A response gobbling up of the wall, but not quite. Some really good vehicle hits from Monty. And then the medium tank to try and hold over here and interrupting this capture. So we have to see if Jonathan is going to use a normal power and then set himself up for a follow-up normal power, or if he's going to go straight into the super to try and outdo Monty. It looks like we're going straight into the super here. Break on through. Take out that tank. Then join to threaten the capture next turn. Get a nice hit on this tank over here. Then wall up against this medium tank. There isn't anything over here that can really deal with the medium tank. But if every other unit dies, then it's just a medium tank that can hit a single unit every turn. I don't like that sacrifice. It wasn't even close. Interesting. Okay. So the copter's going back here to try and force an anti-air buy, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of that because as soon as that anti-air gets bought, and then like this infantry goes here, this is just a dead copter. So I would much rather if the copter lives and just survives. Looks like some bad rolls for Monty. I don't know. I think this was probably a bad roll for Monty right there. But maybe not. I don't know. I think it just gives you a chance at getting the one shot with the extra power. Oof, that mech holding the line. Right, the medium tank spam going on over here. There was actually a base skip from Jonathan to get this medium tank. At this point, I would probably recommend for Jonathan to have a turn. AA wasn't built. There was another base skip. Have a turn of light buys, so you can like buy a bomber or you can buy a neo tank. Ooh, Jonathan goes for some joins to buy a neo tank over here. Trying to hold. He's up 3k, so that's a big deal. While also having some captures on the way. Okay, it looks like Monty is going with the. Let's do one turn of just cheap buys, and then we can do something big next turn. Oh no, it goes for a copter right away. Ooh, tower shield after the fact. Oh no. Does allow for a little bit of a breakthrough. But oftentimes after the fact can hurt a lot. There's a nice join by Jonathan. Right now there's only vehicles that can interrupt that capture. So huge overcommitment of like value to do that. Ooh. That tank. I mean, it did die. Oh, I see. That lets the anti-air through. That copter did end up going down eventually. Tagged the medium tank. Interesting. Jonathan is still holding a really, really nice income advantage during all this. And is having no trouble maintaining the control over these properties right now. While Monty, on the other hand, is struggling to stop this capture from going through, still only has vehicles to interrupt it. And every turn they kind of have somewhat equal trades. Jonathan, there we go. Get the stop, but you have to use a medium tank and a copter. And this copter's very important right now because if this lab goes down, then Jonathan just wins the game. Because Jonathan managed to get the central lab. If there was an anti-air with this guy, he'd probably go for it. Here's an anti-air, got a medium tank on the way over here. If this copter goes anywhere but down here, it's game over. Okay, it moved down. Jonathan is still keeping this nice stranglehold on the economy, and is now just actually threatening this base pretty heavily. I'm not quite sure why he decided to go stand on this comm tower, but that's okay. Okay, Monty is going to be able to get this lab back, but he's down 10 units at the end of Jonathan's turn. Yeah, that's definitely a resign. A gnarly game. No indirects ended up being built. I know this. Look at him go. He was going to threaten to take this city next. Mech spamming is objectively superior. There wasn't any mech spamming. The mechs were used very effectively. I'm proud. Okay, I think I'll call it there. We got through quite a bit of games. The backlog is going down. I will leave you all with an apple. And I hope you have a good one. Good night.